difficult to do, but you can take that cord and put it in a different socket. So he can change, you know what I mean? But do I think what he did was wrong? Yeah. It's not even my business to say, but who wants that to happen? You know?
I think one of the core beginnings of someone being able to change, though, in situations such as this, is that you have to take them out of that particular environment.
Yeah. He needs counseling.
And if they're both dealing with their frustrations or whatever it might be in the form of violence, physical violence, then they need to separate. Yeah. They really need to separate, and they need to be taken out of that particular environment, because just as you said, they're feeding on one another. It's like pouring gasoline on the fire, so to speak. She's the gasoline, he's the fire, or vice versa.
Yeah.
One's fueling the other.
Yeah.
And so the counseling is a great idea, but I think the separation is the beginning.
Yeah.
The beginning of that.
I think he needs counseling. I think she needs self-empowerment lessons. All right? And I think that they should be separated, because they have to learn their own little lessons, and it's going to be difficult with a lot of muddiness or cloudiness happening, when they're together, you know what I mean? Because nothing's going to be resolved. It's going to be getting back into that same vibrational frequency all over again, and it could happen again.
Yeah.
And I'm not completely opposed to something like this happening and them getting back together again. Again, I don't even really care. I'm doing this for the sake of the show. If I was her, it's just my personality. I'd probably be a friend, but never do it. Never actually go back to the person. It's just not who I am. But if there's real love there, I'd say take a couple years away from each other at least.
I just thought
my personal idea, my personal advice. Not that it really means anything, but have some time alone, at least a couple years, separate, and go on your paths, grow up, and maybe it could work later on once you become new people. Self-empowerment lessons, Rihanna, and counseling, Chris Brown. So shoot me if you want to. Give me all the nasty comments. Actually, do subscribe. Do subscribe to our little channel. And send us email. What is it? gardendialogue@gmail.com. And they are going to send us. They may send us some nasty things, so be prepared.
Well, that's all right.
So
all I have to say about Chris Brown and Rihanna, if this is their way of expressing love for each other, I hope that they succeed in loving each other to death.
All right. So there's a couple of comments.
Oh, these are the ones from YouTube, right?
There's a couple of comments from YouTube. Oh God, which one do I start with? Okay. All right. Okay. Here's an interesting one, and this is from She's X Fresh. Something like that. Okay. Rihanna had a gun and shot him in the leg, and he pushed her to defend himself. Then she got out of the car and called the police and inflicted her own scratches. This is the real story. The police said so. I just didn't get that, but that was a cute little story that she put on there, or he. What did you think about that?
Well, I don't know what to think about that, because like I said, the only thing I'm really going off of is the police affidavit, and I don't remember reading anything about a gun.
Yeah, and if she had a gun, she should have shot him in the head.
Yeah, she should have shot him in the leg. Yeah, if he hit her.
No, the head. Oh, the head.
Yeah, the head. All right.
All right. So, which one should I read next?
What is that? What is that? Ghost of Grimm.
Okay, Ghost of Grimm 007. This is probably the most intelligent comment, I think.
What do you got?
And it says,
what does Ghost of Grimm 007 say?
Only the fools of the world would rejoice in others' misery. It's all a joke until something happened to them or someone they love. Then it's woe is me. Making retarded or racist comments on YouTube don't make you cool. just make you a bigger clown than you already are. That's what he had to say about that. What do you think about that?
Well, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, I'm never about, you know, pointing fingers.
Yeah. And like it seems like everyone on YouTube is either taking one side or the other.
Oh, are they?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's interesting that that at least on YouTube you're seeing that, because from what I'm seeing, you know, in the media and the press is, you know, is that, you know, and this is just my own perception from what I've been seeing over the past few hours researching this, is that, you know, Rihanna's the victim here, and Chris Brown is the perpetrator. So, but like you said, you know, it takes two to tango. So only Rihanna and Chris really know, you know, as far as I'm concerned, what happened, what really happened.
Yeah, and it's funny because everyone, when they hear the idea of being in control of their reality, they kind of like that, you know. And it is our nature. It's our nature. That's why it's obvious that this stuff is true, this law of attraction thing. Because when someone thwarts what you're trying to create, it's your nature to say, hey, wait a second, I'm trying to create this. Don't get in my way.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's our nature. But when it comes to something bad happening, people don't want to take responsibility that they created that.
Yeah.
You created everything. Yeah. So watch how you create, and if
see
you
what
wanna
you made me do.
See what you made me do. Blame it on someone else. It's just no one can make you do anything. I don't care what happened. You know, frequencies. It's about radio signals matching up.
Well, it's about self-control.
Yeah. You can't listen to Z100 and expect to hear CBS FM, the oldie station, and vice versa.
Yeah.
If you're tuned into CBS FM, but you're looking for the cool music of Z100, the current cool music, you're not going to get that. You're going to get the oldies. Set your frequency to where you want them.
Yeah.
I'll read just one more comment.
No, give us a couple more. These are interesting.
A couple more? All right.
Yeah.
All right. This one is from... Can you read that?
What is it? Ashatu?
Ashatu.
Ashatu. Wow, that's recent. Only 6 hours ago.
Yeah. Okay, so this one says... Okay, why do you all hate Rihanna? No one deserves to get beaten unless they touch someone first.
Oh.
If you don't like her...
So one punch begets another.
Right.
That's sort of the eye for an eye thing.
If you don't like her, you don't need to spread it around and say all this shit. Just leave her alone, because people are saying all these things when she's the famous one.